Hello everybody, and welcome to another in a series of short videos that I'm creating that are designed to help you bring more clarity, confidence, and creativity into everything you do. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Dr. Bill Crawford. I'm a psychologist, speaker, corporate trainer, life coach. I've had the pleasure of writing 4 books and doing 2 PBS specials. And each week I send out one of my favorite quotes along with 2 or 3 paragraphs about how to apply the quote to life to about 5,000 subscribers on my email list. If you're not already one of those subscribers, it's free. All you've got to do is go to my website, billcrawfordphd.com, hit the subscribe button, put your first name, your email address in, and each week I will send you one of these quotes, and now I'm trying to include a short video with each one of the quotes. Today's quote looks at the subject of shame and guilt, and it's one of my own. It says, "Creating a meaningful life has less to do with how we feel about the past than what we do about the future." I mention this because I see so often people using kind of shame and guilt and fear of something that happened in the past as a way of creating a meaningful life or atoning for some sin. And while this is understandable, that's kind of what we're taught to do as kids. Matter of fact, I remember when I was a kid and I screwed up, if I felt really, really bad about it, somehow I didn't get punished as much. So I think we're taught to feel really, really bad or feel ashamed of our behavior or our choices sometimes as a way of atoning for them or fixing the problem. But for those of you who have followed my life from the top of the mind philosophy, you know this shame and this guilt really only engages this lower 20% of the brain. There's that fight or flight part of the brain. Shame and guilt are the flight, which can easily, by the way, turn into fight if it goes from shame and guilt to blame and anger. Regardless, however, I'm suggesting we don't want to look at the past and the bad things that happened in the past as a way of creating the future. Because where we create the future is from this upper 80% of the brain. Matter of fact, the frontal lobes right up here are where we imagine the future. And while we're stuck in this lower 20% of the brain, we don't have access to this upper 80%, that clear, confident, creative, compassionate part of who we are. And that's the part we need to be able to create the future we want. Plus, I'm sure you've noticed that just feeling less of something doesn't make you happy. Feeling less stressed or shamed or guilty or frustrated doesn't make you clear, confident, creative, and compassionate. They just come from different parts of the brain. So what I suggest we do is to focus on the time at hand and the time that we can influence, which is now and in the future. And tap into this upper 80% of the brain. Get really clear about what we would do differently. We can look back at the past and say, okay, that didn't work. That doesn't represent who I am. That's not what I would teach to someone I love. And then say, okay, if I were doing that differently, how would I do it differently? What would I bring to that particular situation? What different choices would I make? What would I teach to someone I love about doing that differently? And now we have a vision of what we want to do about the future, not just how we want to feel about the past. The potential that then we will be able to bring that to the future is huge. If you would like me to come to your organization, create a presentation on looking at the present and the future as the time in our lives that we can make meaningful change, I would love to do that. All you've got to do is go to my website, hit the contact button, contact me by email or phone, and I will be happy to talk with you about that. In the meantime, I'm hoping you're finding this valuable. And if you find yourself feeling shamed or guilty about something in the past, that's understandable, and yet it's really not going to help you change the future. I'm going to encourage you to shift from that shamed and frustrated and guilty part of the brain to this clear, confident, creative, compassionate, loving part of the brain. Begin to imagine the future in a way that makes the statement you want to make about who you are in a way that you would teach to someone you love. I hope you found this valuable. I try to keep these videos short. I know we're all busy. Here's to you, bringing more clarity, confidence, and creativity to your present and your future. And I will look forward to seeing you in the next video.